Why did I really leave the farm? Today, I'm going to share with you why I left the farm, and I am going to share information with you that I have never told anyone before, for the exception of my sweet wife. And we'll dive into that in one moment. Hello, Mark Weisenburger with the Mentally Fit Farmer Show. Today, I'm going to share personal experiences and stories with you on why I left the farm. And as I mentioned, I have not shared this with anyone except for my wife. I didn't even know why I was leaving the farm when I left in my mid-20s. I guess it all started back when I was about 14 years of age. I injured my back moving irrigation pipes, and my back never did really recover from that. And as I grew older, it gave me more and more problems. When I was 21, 22, I personally spent out of my pocket about $10,000 trying to figure out and find out what was wrong with my back and was there a solution for it. And that was like 40 years ago. I hate to say that, but that was 40 years ago. Just dawned on me how long ago that had been. And so take into inflation what that would be today. I have no clue, but it was a lot of money back then, and it's still a lot of money today. But my back pain became so bad that I couldn't even drive a tractor. I couldn't even drive a truck. So I decided it was time for me to go back to school and to get an education, learn how to do something besides farming. So when I was 26 years old, married with 2 children, I left the farm on the premise of back pain. Now, the part of the story behind that, and we'll get back to the back pain, but I also struggled communicating with my father. So my father and I, we butted heads, and I've now learned what was going on there as well. So back to my back pain. I came down, moved to Utah from Idaho, and went to school and been working ever since in one form or another. But what I've learned is as my stress goes down, so does my back pain. I have virtually zero back pain right now because I've taken responsibility of my stress resilience. And the way I've done that is through balancing my gut-brain axis. And I've made a couple videos on the gut-brain axis. I'll leave links to those in the description below. However, I've noticed over the years, the longer I go, the less stress I get, the better my back is, or the better my back feels. Now, sure, you can say, well, you're not farming, you're not driving tractor, you're not driving truck anymore. So that's the real case, which that's kind of what I was thinking too. However, this last fall, I had the opportunity, of course, I've been doing this for 15, 16 years, but this last fall, I had a aha moment. I go up there, I will stay anywhere from 4 to 7 weeks. I drive truck, I drive tractor, I ran harvester, I ran the beet topper this last year, as well as doing field work. I help them fix the harvester when it breaks down. I do everything I was doing when I was on the farm, farming for myself. And one morning, as I was climbing up on the tire, I realized that I could climb the tire easier. There was no pressure in my back, no pressure down my legs than I have ever been able to do before. And so after It started 2 years ago, balancing my gut-brain axis, and I've felt better every year as I've gone through. But I realized at that moment that I felt better at 62 than I have ever felt in my life, mentally and physically. And why is that? Well, because, and there's science behind all of this now. And we're not going to dive into that because I just want to keep this video short. But as I've balanced my gut-brain axis, I've reduced my stress or increased my stress resilience to challenges that I have. And if I get stressed, I can feel some of that back pain coming back in existence, but I know exactly what's going on, and I know exactly what to do to get rid of that. The second reason I mentioned was my dad and I butted heads. And now that I understand, back on the farm, my gut-brain axis was not in balance. And it had a lot of things to do with the way I ate and my sleep habits, etc. Well, my dad and his friend, who actually I go and drive truck for, he likes to say my dad was like a cat on a hot tin roof. My dad was a little high strung. And we'll never know this for a fact, but I personally believe that his gut-brain axis was out of balance as well. And so he carried all that stress continually. His gut, he told me the couple of years before he died, that his gut was always tied up in a knot, which tells me he was stressed. And his gut wasn't producing the GABA, the serotonin, the melatonin, the dopamine that was required to have him feel good. And therefore, when something would go wrong, the two of us would butt heads together. I have no ill feelings towards my father. I love my father. I respect my father. He was a great father. He's a great farmer, and he was a great businessman. And I will be eternally grateful for my father and the things he taught me. So I'm not saying any of this to diss my father. It's just him and I had issues with our body that science couldn't help back then. Science had no clue about the gut-brain axis. This is all new science in the last 8 to 10 years. So anyway, if you have any questions about your gut-brain axis, not access, but gut-brain axis, or have any questions for me personally, or subjects you'd like to hear about, please go ahead and leave a comment down below. And until next time, to your stress resilience. Goodbye.